Hi again, Gregg Bell of the News Tribune at Seahawks headquarters, the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. 13th practice of training camp, and yeah, it's getting long now for the Seahawks. Today was fight day. Mike Macdonald has throughout this camp made it clear that he wants physicality and toughness in his players, especially on the defense that was 30th ranked last year. The whole reason Macdonald is here coaching the Seahawks as the youngest coach in the NFL is to fix the defense. So he has throughout practices let things go. After plays, guys pushing and shoving. I've written and talked about numerous times about how these practices have been chippy, the chippiest I've seen in a decade or so. Well, today it boiled over into just fight day. It was like watching The Longest Yard, the Burt Reynolds version back in the 1970s. Might have been on a prison yard at times. You may have seen by now the video online in the background of an NFL Network live broadcast here from training camp, right on the field behind me in the back of the end zone, DK Metcalf ripping off Trey Brown's helmet, trying to hit Brown with it with an overhead swing, and ended up hitting safety Kayvon Wallace instead. That was right after Jake Bobo got his helmet ripped off by Trey Brown at the end of a running play away from the ball. Brown ripped off Bobo's helmet and then gave him an uppercut and hit him right across the bridge of the nose. The trainer had to go fix Bobo while he missed the rest of that series. After the Metcalf helmet swing, Mike Macdonald brought the team together, stopped practice, ended the music, and told them that's it. That's my limit. 2 ripped off helmets, a swingy helmet, player bloodied nose. That's my limit. But that's the first time in this training camp he's done that. Up until that point, it had been okay. And he set the limit today at that. What happened after that? More pushing and shoving. 3 or 4 other skirmishes in 11 on 11. Then when the offensive and defensive linemen went one-on-one pass drills, always the most contentious and physical of every practice day out here. One of the initial drills of that, rookie 3rd-round pick Christian Haynes drove Derek Hall well past the quarterback, kept riding him well after the play. Hall didn't appreciate that. As they walked back to the line of scrimmage to do another rep, Hall kept beefing with Haynes. Haynes then pointed and jabbed at Hall. Hall went at Haynes, and they went at each other before the offensive and defensive line mates jumped in. Mike Macdonald came from another field where he was watching the quarterbacks throw to the wide receivers against defensive backs, came over to the linemen, and he threw Hall out of practice, and then he threw Haynes out of practice. That's the first time we've seen him do that in this camp. So the new coach has set his limits, but it's he's putting up with a lot and allowing a lot to go because of the mentality he wants to establish. It's very interesting to me that after practice, Zach Charbonnet, we asked the running back, what did Macdonald say to you in the middle of the field? And he said, he told them that they have to be able to control themselves in games and they have to be smart and not hurt each other, which is what Macdonald has said to the media too. But then Charbonnet said, but this is training camp. You have to admire the competitiveness. And that is exactly what Mike Macdonald wants. After the practice, Macdonald called the team in the middle of the field yet again, as he does at the end of every practice. He had DK Metcalf address the team. Macdonald later told NFL Network that Metcalf had a very positive message with good perspective, putting everything into perspective, and set the team off with a good tone to leave practice in a good frame of mind. Think what you want about DK Metcalf. He wasn't the provocateur of this, not that much. Trey Brown had already gone after Jake Bobo. Then he was blocking a little too much into DK Metcalf's liking on a run play far away from him in the end zone. Metcalf overreacted and did the helmet swing. It's the mentality that Mike Macdonald wants, and the fact is, this was the most contentious, fight-filled practice I've seen since the early Legion of Boom days 10 years ago. We all know how that went from 2012 until 14 and 15, back-to-back Super Bowls and the Seahawks' only Super Bowl championship. Not saying that's where this team is, but that's the mentality that Mike Macdonald is trying to instill. I think there's a part of him that isn't too upset about what happened today on the field with the fights. They play against another team and get to hit to somebody else starting on Saturday in Los Angeles, first preseason game, 4:05 p.m. on Channel 16 here locally, Kong TV, against the Chargers. Mike Macdonald has indicated that he intends for the starters to play at least a little bit. I don't know if that means Geno Smith will play. Today was Smith's 3rd practice back after missing 4 days with the knee and hip issues from last week. The starting offensive line today: Charles Cross is always at left tackle. Laken Tomlinson is back from his veteran rest day at left guard. Ola Oluwatimi was the first team center because Connor Williams is yet to report after signing his 1-year contract with the Seahawks. Of course, we don't know when Williams will get on the field because he's 8.5 months removed from an ACL knee reconstructive surgery. We're expecting him to report in the next day or two. The right guard was Anthony Bradford, as has been for most of camp, and McClendon Curtis was the right tackle today. George Fant was in street clothes and looked like he had a rest day. Still no sign of when Abraham Lucas will come back from his offseason knee surgery. All my coverage of fight day here at the Seahawks is at thenewstribune.com, on Twitter, X, at GBellSeattle. As always, thank you for watching.